Hey guys, so we decided to do a little video. We're getting ready to build our second PC. We didn't get to document the first one, so we wanted to document this one just so you guys can have a look and watch the video. We're starting off with the 27-inch Samsung Odyssey G7 as the monitor. We have the Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro RAM. They're 16 gigabyte to 8 gigabytes. We got 4 total. And then we have the 970 Evo SSD. We have the RM750 for the power supply, Corsair. We have the ROG Strix Gaming Graphics Card, 2080 Super, overclocked. We have the Corsair K55 RGB keyboard, the X570 Elite motherboard, the Ryzen 9. We got the Trinity Razer mouse, and then a cooler master case. Kind of hard to see with the reflection. But yeah, that's all the parts so far. We're getting ready to start on it, and we'll update you guys in a little bit. So we are getting ready to install the CPU, which goes right here, and it looks like this.There's a little arrow here on the side, if you can see it. And you will line that up with the arrow down here. You don't want to push anything. It will slide in perfectly. You'll hear it click. Just like that. Like I said, you don't, and then you want to take your little pen.
Take it up.
Push it down. Snap it in. And like I was saying before, you don't want to shove it in. You don't want to force it in. It will pop in. If you're not careful, you will bend the pins on the back of it, and you will ruin your CPU.
And then tell them if you're taking it out, you want to make sure this is.
Oh, right. If you need to take it out for any reason whatsoever, you accidentally put it in backwards, you didn't line the arrows up, anything. This right here, you'll just pop it out like that, and you want to make sure you push this all the way back, like towards you, and it will pop it out.
You'll see it lift up.
Yeah, you'll see it lift up. Go. And now we're moving on. So next we are installing the RAM. The Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro, 16 gigabyte total. But we have four of them, so. And because we have 4 of them, we don't have to worry about which slots to put them in. But if you are just installing 2, you will need to read your manual to see what the preference is. It'll even say it on the motherboard. But your manual will normally tell you which slots it prefers for you to put them in. And you'll just line up these little... There's a little notch on them, and you'll line them up and then snap it right in. And you do have to put quite a bit of pressure on them.
You'll hear it actually snap.
You'll hear it snap in, though. Boom. 2 installed. And now we are installing the next two. These are going to be so pretty when they light up.
You want to say try not to touch the...
Yeah, try not to touch the little pins on the bottom of it if you can keep from it. You don't want to bend any of the little pins because then they'll obviously not work. 4 installed Ram sticks. And we move on. Don't matter whichever. So now we are going to install our SSD. This is where ours goes in our motherboard. So you'll just take this out. Possibly. There we go. And there's a little slit right here, and you just pull it out. Now there is a piece of paper-like stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, plastic on the back of it. You will have to take this off. And once you do take this off, try not to, I know it'll be probably impossible, but try not to touch what's on the back. It's adhesive on the back of it. Just do your best not to touch that part of it. Just like so. Okay. Evo 1 terabyte SSD, Samsung. Like I said before, you will take this cover off. You will peel the back off of it. Right. You peel the back of it off. There's a little piece of plastic. This is a heat sink adhesive that will go, you know, touch the back of your SSD or whatnot. You want to go to your motherboard and find your standoff screw. And you want to line it up with there's 3 different slots here. And you want to line it up with whichever it'll set right here. On our motherboard, it's the last one, the number 3. So now we're just going to do that. Then you'll take your SSD. Try not to touch any of the little pieces on the sides or the back. There is a little notch on ours. There's a little notch on ours, if you can see it, if it'll focus in. Anyways, it's right there. And as you can see on the motherboard, there's a little pin right there, and that notch just slides right in. And we figured out on the last one that you actually have to snap it in. Like, I don't know if it's like that for other motherboards or other SSDs or whatnot, but you don't just set it in there. It actually snaps in to where it looks like a little diving board almost. Like it'll be snapped in, and the end part will be flipped up just like that. And it's like bouncy. And then you use your, this will also be with your motherboard as well. It's a little tiny screw. It's so tiny, I don't know if it'll focus or not. There. And you take it and you stick it on the back right here, and it'll screw right down into your no, what's that little thing called again? Standoff screw. Yes, it'll screw right down into that.
And this is your M.2 socket.
Yes, this is your M.2 socket. It's so bright it won't focus, but It's actually very simple. And just like that, SSD 1 terabyte is installed. Now we move on. Okay, don't forget to put your cover back on if you are putting it back on. If it fits back on, sometimes it won't with certain SSDs that you get. But for ours, it does fit back on, and we almost forgot to put it back on there. So don't forget that. And it just slides right back into the little slot. You just use the screw that was already in it and tighten it down. And anything that you're using on here, tightening, like when you're tightening it down, just don't put force on it. Don't try to torque it. Just put it on to where it's like, you know, snug or whatnot. But yeah. Okay, so now we have our RGB RAM installed. We have our CPU installed. We have our M.2 installed. And now we are going to install the CPU cooler. Now, most of them, when you get them and you take them out of the box, they will already have the thermal paste on the bottom. Ours does. Most of them will. A lot of people will wipe it off and put their own on. We are not. We do have thermal compound, but we've decided just to leave what was on there because we did it for my PC and it worked fine. So now you want to make sure your letters on your cooler are facing to the top of the motherboard. Like this is the top of ours, so it will go directly down like that. And you just want to place it down onto your CPU, just flat. Kind of hard to get.
Oh, there we go.
And you want to, let me get on the side of you. This bracket right here, it has to go in first. And you'll put it on, you put it on your bracket. And then you'll move to this side. And when you first start, you want to make sure that this piece right here is in a loose position before you start trying to put it on. What are you doing, Luna Cat? Are you watching? Yeah. But yeah, you want to make sure this is in the loose position. And like I said, this side over here will go on first. And then you'll work on this side. And it does take a lot of pressure to get it put on there. It will feel like you're going to break it, but you won't. It takes a lot of pressure to get it snapped down into where it needs to be. Okay, so now we've got this side on. Try to get it to focus here. Got this side in there. And then we have this side in there.
This is the part where it looks like it's going to break it.
Yeah, this is the part where it looks like it's going to break. Like, we honestly, the first time we did it, we thought that we were going to break it. I'm going to go ahead and let you do it. And then you'll take the little lever and you're going to flip it and the way it goes. And there it is. Snapped in.
And so you want a good seal.
Yep, make sure it's good and on there. And you'll want to pick it up. Make sure it doesn't fall. And it's good to go. Sorry, the camera keeps getting a little blurry. It keeps wanting to not focus. But now we have CPU, CPU cooler, RGB RAM sticks, M.2, which is your SSD. And now we're moving on to the, what are we moving on to? Oh wait, yeah. Let me show you guys that actually. There is a There's a cord coming from it.
And our 2 wires on the bottom.
Oh yeah, and these 2 as well. And these 2 will come with your cooler as well. And this one here, it's a 4-pin, and you want to hook it into, let me get it to focus here, your CPU fan. There's CPU out, CPU fan. Your CPU fan is the gray one. On ours, it's gray anyways. And it is, has that little slit in it. Ours has this little slit right here, so you can see which way that it goes on there. Get to where you guys can see it. Well, I can't even see it that well, so. And there we go. It is connected. Now we'll want to take these 2. These are, you want to open those up?
One's your RGB.
Yeah, one is your RGB, and I think they're both 4 pins if I'm not mistaken. Luna, leave that alone.
Here's the USB one. Actually, yep, this is a 4-pin on that side. It's the USB one.
Yeah, see, this is a little baby 3-pin on one side. I don't know what the technical term is for it. I'm not a computer person really, but. And then on this side, it's actually a 9-pin.
It's the USB one.
But it is your USB cord, yes. I can't even get it to focus. Okay. And then right here on your cooler, there's these little tiny little black pieces. I can't really see.
Right there.
Yeah, these little black pieces right here. You want to peel them off. There we go. And then you have your connectors. And there's your 3-pin.
And your 4-pin.
And your 4-pin.
All the way in there.
And there's this one. I don't know what that is. I can't see anything but your hands. What is this? LH.
Low and high.
Huh. I didn't even know that those had that.
Just slow it down.
Yeah.
Put it back on high.
I didn't touch it. It was that's where it was at. Okay. So here is your USB. You want to plug it into any USB port, really, honestly. And there's one slot that has like one of the holes is not completely out, so you want to make sure you line that up where there's not a pin.
Yeah, it only has 2 USB ports.
Yeah. Well, you got just your USB, and then you got your USB 3.0.
Yeah.
You want it over here?
No, it don't matter. It don't. You can put it. No, that's fine. Honestly, makes it worse. I think when I shine this light on them.
There we go. Now, this one is your LED CPU. You will see on ours anyways, it says LED CPU. And it'll be the top one. And that's where this one goes into.
Put the arrow facing this way.
Right.
Because that's your power.
Yeah. Hard to see, but anyways, you guys know where it goes. It's really hard to see it right now because not a lot of space.
No, it don't help that I got fat hands anyways. So much cable management right there now.
Yes, so many cables. that we're going to have to manage.
I don't know why they made it so long.
I guess so that you could manage it. I mean, if it was short, it'd literally just be sitting there. But, okay. Now we are done with the CPU cooler. Moving on. Okay, so we were doing some research on both of these wires, and you do not need both of them. You can have one or the other. I'm sure you could probably use both of them, but you don't need them. This one here, the one that's plugged in to your LED CPU, this is for if you want to if you want to control your CPU RGB colors through your motherboard. And then the regular USB cord is pretty much just so you can control your LED through an app.
Yeah.
A software, pretty much. So we are not going to use both of them. We are just going to use the USB. We're not going to use the LED CPU one, which is the 4-pin.
Yeah, you just go to amd.com CPU cooler solution
to control it through the LED CPU wire.
I was trying to figure out what this switch is done right here because I'm honestly not positive what that switch is for.
We're not really for sure what this switch here is for. If you do know, let us know down in the comments because we don't. We don't know.
Yeah,
it's an L and an H. Obviously, we assume it's for low and high, but yeah, if you know what it's for, let us know down in the comments. Okay, so now we are getting ready to mount the motherboard. We have decided to go ahead and mount it before we put the graphics card in. So, your case will come with these little screws. This is a little tool right here that will be used to put these in. So, do not lose these screws to your case. These are what screws your motherboard on. Yeah. And you'll see these little holes throughout your motherboard here, 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 here. They're everywhere. And on our certain case, it will show you kind of bright. I don't know if you're able to see it, but ours is an ATX. So at the top it says ATX A. Every little spot that is marked A will be where we screw our motherboard into.
Yeah, it's like a standoff screw.
Yeah, it's like a standoff screw you put in first, which is what these are. If I can get it to focus. Those are. You'll put those in first. Then you'll put your motherboard on, which will sit on top of these, and then you'll screw them down. But I just wanted to get that in the video so that you know, like for the most part, your case should be labeled to show you where exactly you'll need to screw it down at. But okay, we'll catch you in the next part. So we have the motherboard in the case. We are now just taking every little screw and screwing them in to mount it. I just wanted to get a little piece of this on the video. And like I stated before, make sure you put the standoff screws in first, and then line the motherboard holes up on top of the standoff screws. And you want to make sure that your plate back here is lined up correctly with everything before you start screwing it down. And don't drop the little screws in the holes. Probably never find them. But yeah, we're gonna finish this up and we'll get back with you. Okay, so we have got the motherboard mounted. We took these brackets out because we are getting ready to put in the graphics card shortly. As of right this second, we are just connecting cables on the back, which controls our RGB fans in the front, and We connected our USB 3.0. What else did we connect? Our audio. Pretty much just all the cables that are in the back of the case, we are connecting them through. The back fan right here, we don't have connected yet, but we will connect. And now we are just working on cables.
That's your main.
Yeah, now we are just working on cables for our power supply. Okay, so now we have, for the most part, our cables managed. And I wanted to show you guys the power supply. This is something that when we did our first PC, we were so confused about. Like, there were so many wires. Like, if you're a first time builder, you don't really know anything. Like, you can do all the research you want, but there's just some things that you won't know until you do it. And this was something that was really confusing to us because we thought that every single thing had to be filled up. Like, you needed to have a wire in every slot possible, and that's just not the case. And I just wanted to show you guys what you do need. So this is your 24 pin. This will go into your motherboard right there. You have a 10 pin on the end and an 18 pin. And you can see right here, it says 24 pin ATX. But that's where that goes. And this end, like I said, will go into your motherboard. And then you have your PCIe cable, which is an 8 pin. And on the end of it, you have these, which is a 6+2 for both of them. These will go into your graphics card. And then we have another 8 pin here. And on the end of it is also an 8 pin. And this is going to go to the top of your motherboard. You can see it right there. Right there. That's where it's going to go in at. But I just wanted to clear that up and have this part because, like I said, we struggled with it at first because we thought that because it comes with a lot of cables, actually. Like, these are all of the other cables, plus, like, these ones. And we just couldn't figure out, why do you need all of those? Where do they go? Where do they go into your motherboard? Where do they go into your graphics card? And we just couldn't figure it out. But we finally did enough research on it that you do not need these. Most of these are SATA cables that you don't really need. People say you can plug, like, one of them up to have in case you ever do need it. But we haven't because I do not think we'll need it. And if we do, then we'll plug it in.
I'll buy another M.2. I'll buy another
yeah,
SSD.
we'll buy another SSD or something. But yeah, I just wanted to really put this part in here because just so you know. But yeah, we're gonna get this part installed in and get the wires hooked up, and then we'll be back with you. And I think after this, we're gonna do the graphics card, and then we'll be done. Okay. All the wires are plugged in. We haven't actually plugged them into the motherboard yet. We are going to install the graphics card first and then do wire management and plug everything in. But here is the graphics card. You want to make sure you take all the little black pieces off the end of it and all the little plastic pieces. Take that off. Here, you want to hold this? Right here on the end, you want to pull these out. Possibly. Got it. Okay. Those are all out. Now we want to peel the plastic. That one's off.
I'll put the plastic on the back after we set it.
Okay. And get on this side. Then you're just going to line that up with the brackets on the back. Or on the side, really. Did you line?
Just bolt it down.
Yeah, and then there's just two little screws that go in right here. to bolt it down.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Yep. My camera doesn't want to focus. We are just about done, y'all. It is 12 o'clock at night. We've been working on this for, what, 2 hours?
Probably close, yeah.
Almost 2 hours. Okay, so we have the graphics card installed. It is looking good. Now we just gotta plug up a few wires, do a little bit of cable management, and we'll be done. Well, it's USB. Then we'll do an overall full look around once everything is connected and we turn it on, make sure we get a signal, and yeah, we'll let you guys know. Next time we come back, it'll be finished. We have a boot screen. Man, she looks good. Y'all, those are some pretty RAM, that's for sure. Let me turn this light off. There we go. We have talked about, and I think we are going to replace this back fan back here. We're going to replace it. And honestly, we might replace the front ones. I don't know yet. We haven't decided. We're going to try to link them up with this one to try to make them the same color. I do know that before, I wish we would have looked into the cases a lot better before we bought this one. Not saying that it's not a good case, because it has been a really good case. It has the option right here to have a vertical mount for your graphics card. But I do wish that it had top fans, or at least some other option for other fans, because as is, it just has the back fan and then it has the front 3 fans, which is fine. I've never had any problem out of mine. It cools just fine, like it runs perfect. But I don't know, I like the look of a lot more fans than that. I think it makes it look nice. But yep, this is it.
So we can get into the buyers real fast.
We have to download Windows and all that good stuff. But for now, that is it. That is everything you need to know about building your own PC. I try to go step by step and to make sure that, because in all honesty, I wish that there's videos out there, which I'm sure there is, but they were hard to find, honestly, whenever we first started, because everybody made it so complicated. Like, it was so complicated, and it's really not. Like, if you explain it the right way, it's really not that complicated. But I hope you guys liked the video, and if you're new around here, like and subscribe. We are doing a giveaway. When we hit 125 subscribers, we're giving away an Amazon PS4 or Xbox gift card. Whenever we hit 250, we're going to be giving away either an Astro headset, the Astro, what is it? The Astro TR40 headset, or a SCUF controller of the winner's choice. So, I hope you guys liked the video and subscribe. Thanks.